Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a new TEW2020 video. You join us as we begin a run of events that are going to come in quite quick succession in-game. They'll still be week to week on the channel, but a few ideas came to mind, a lot of things managed to fit in, and yeah, we'll see how it goes over the next coming weeks. We've got a lot of stuff pre-booked, so at the end of the episode I will do the Excalibur, quickly running down what's going to be on other shows coming forward. But last week of June, just before we get to the Wrestler of the Year so far and that kind of stuff, so what I'll do is I'll take a note of that and I'll unveil that at the next show, at the Battle of the Belts, which is next weekend game, so I'll be quite fresh for that. We are looking at a show here that has, I think it's got about 9 matches. I think we're going to talk about 15-16 segments, so not too lengthy, but it's obviously spreading the workers out over the course of the different shows to keep things fresh. Because of the state of the industry, I don't think we'll be close to that 71,000. It might be close, but because of the main event I've went with, I've decided that holding it in America would be best, because we are going to be running in the Tri-State area with a main event of Demi Bennent versus Mei Suruga for the AEW Women's World Championship. They've battled before. They actually have one pinfall each over each other in history. The last singles match was a 60, but it was a very long time ago. Can these two together deliver the goods? It's a lot of pressure. I might lose pop here, but why not give the women the main event? They certainly deserve it. But a pretty stacked card and a few stories to tell along the way. I've had a few weeks off the game, but you just don't notice that because it's still week to week episodes, because I say when I've been playing it, it's been like great stints. I've had a lot of fun booking the shows, a lot of fantasy booking, and yeah, it's just been an absolute blast. So without further ado, we'll crack on. We're on AEW Plus, we're on Dish Network, main event and Shaw Direct. All the boosts are there because money is no option. And without further ado, this is the 2024 AEW Fyter Fest. Let's do it. So you can see straight off the bat, 56,072 fans at the New Era Field tells us that the industry is in a big decline at this moment in time. So the fact that we're financially in a position that we are is going to cover us, but we are going to start attacking WWE with a few insults in there, and I'm going to try and sign as many ROH people. I want to try and put ROH out of business so I can take them over and make it true to real life. I know I give people fruity developmental, but I'd rather have a bit more full control of Ring of Honor. So we start the show to get our cheeky 100 rating, so we just have to worry about the main event match, and this is words between John Cena and MJF. In this instance though, it actually makes a lot of sense because John Cena has got a 1-month injury, so he won't be able to get revenge on MJF for that upset victory that MJF had on him. But they just basically go at each other here. MJF says he's the greatest of all time, he's beat John Cena. He just says, give me one more opportunity. Biggest stage possible in AEW, all out. John Cena, MJF. If you truly want to disintegrate this, you can beat me again. And then I believe after that you should be heading for the World Championship. MJF goes, you know what? Normally it's something he would say, nope, get to the back of the line, loser. But MJF spills money, he wants more money, and he knows that him and Cena will draw an amazing gate. So that's booked in. That's going to be a long time away. All Out obviously is the first week, I think it's the last week of August in game, but Cena will be fighting fit then, and him and MJF. I might do something where MJF might change his mind, have Cena jump through a few loopholes to get there, but I still feel MJF Cena 2 has to happen. So we're with probably a main event level match in our opener, and that's the feud we've had in the last couple of weeks on Rampage between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Steen. I really wanted to take Kevin up to main event level. I've never really pushed him and Sammy to the level they should be, even though Kev just does great stuff, wanting to continually put people over, but I decided let's just get him to like 80, 90 over, then we'll worry about that kind of stuff. People can get a better benefit from them. So Cody here's just poked the bear. He's wins over Kev. He's just continually just been a thorn on his side. And in this matchup, straight up match, superb wrestling, great heat. Kevin Steen picks up the win over Cody in 21:38 with a package pile driver. 83, it's not too bad, it's a decent opener. 83 for Kevin, 88 for Cody. Regular matchup is, you can see any negatives, just Cody Rhodes for inconsistency. Our second match of the evening is in the women's division, and it is the rematch for the TBS Championship. Cassie Lee gets a rematch against Thunder Rosa. A simple matchup here, decent match. Thunder picks up the win in 10:53 with the Rosa. First defence of the championship. Simple, effective, sorts out the rematch, 69, and pretty good for the TBS Championship. I'm going to really make that a worker's belt and get some bangers going. Thunder Rosa cuts a promo after the match, somehow still has a steel gimmick after not long turning heel, so we'll need to look to amend that. But basically she just says, next week is Battle of the Belts. If any of these losers think they can take me on and beat me, bring it on. I'll take on all comers. This is going to be the greatest and longest reign, TBS reign in AEW history. I've got an idea who I think I want to challenge for it. Possibly going to be Toni Storm, but there may be other options. I'll see what baby faces are around. The problem is, the last time I got the loan for Starlight Kid, she's now a heel, just the way she is in Stardom. I think I've peaked her out in popularity though. I think she's capped where she is in America, so it'll be interesting to see what happens between her and Stardom, if they'll be able to afford her or she'll be still interested going forward. Next matchup was, obviously we'd seen it, the mind games being played by Wendy the Clown. This terrible gimmick I've got for Wyndham, but we'll see what happens anyway. Superb matchup, he gets the best of the Hangman in 13:27 by count out. Just plays lots of psychological games here. Basically props around the arena, just basically stupid stuff like pie in the face, all the kind of stuff we had with him when he had like the puppets and all that kind of stuff, just properly playing mind games on the Hangman, but getting himself over with the victory. A 78 is not fantastic, I'm not going to lie. I've not particularly booked Wyndham well, I know that, but hopefully this can be the start of this kind of Doink inspired character taking him to a brand new level. And after the matchup, with all the psychological games that he has played, Wendy the Clown then puts Hangman through a table, getting him some heat. Both guys look good in this instance, and an 87 is the result of that. Next up, we have the infamous thing that always happens in TW, where you have two people of the same name and select the wrong person. This was obviously supposed to be Bailey Rose and Mercedes Varnado, so that's an error by myself. Always double check your work before you book it. But basically they say Battle of the Belts is coming up. Jade, Cargo and Charlotte need opponents for the tag team championships. We're former friends, better enemies, but I think we can show that we are a better duo than Charlotte and Jade Cargo. So ignore Mercedes Martinez there, it should be Varnado, but the fact they get a 75, that may actually benefit Mercedes Martinez in the future. TNT Championship on the line next. The open challenge that Keith Lee's been putting out was accepted by Riddle. Good matchup here. Keith Lee picks up the win over Riddle in 12:54 with a Spirit Bomb. Keith Lee making the third defence of the TNT Championship. 82, simple. 79, 73 for Riddle, and that was just a regular match that had a pretty successful rating. Keith Lee, likewise to Thunder Rosa, says it's a workman's title belt. He says, let's just keep having banger after banger. Let's have people basking in my glory. Who's going to step up to the plate and challenge me for the TNT Championship next week? A promo, solid. Next up, I had a matchup that's been brewing for a little while on Dynamite, and that is a matchup between AJ Styles and Pete Dunne. AJ is in that kind of position where the physical decline has certainly hampered him, and I do need to start working and putting other people over. I think Pete Dunne probably sees a lot of, AJ sees a lot of Pete Dunne in himself. So these two have had a wee bit of kind of back and forth the last couple of weeks. Danielson's had a keen eye on Pete Dunne, but anyway, good wrestling match, decent reaction from the crowd, and it was Pete Dunne who picks up the win over AJ in 12:29 with a bitter end. A 75, no butching here, great win for Pete Dunne, and hopefully he can progress going forward. It's a shame when you've got people like AJ who are going to have poor stamina, declining physical ability. Nakamura will be the same. Phenomenal talents, but obviously father time will catch up with them in real life, and then more so in the game when they get a heavy penalty for that stat decline. We then had another team that's going to challenge Jade Cargill and Charlotte, and that is the Powers from Out of the Galaxy. I might call it that name, but it is going to be the team of the two powerhouses. It is Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. They have formed a bond and an alliance over weightlifting and just generally being phenomenal athletes, and they think they're the two that can take the belts from Jade and Charlotte. So 80 rated there. Chris Statlander did need to change her gimmick, so we are going to move her to debut an open mind gimmick, and this has an initial rating of great, and that is likely to rise over time as the fans get used to the new gimmick. Gives a small boost to star quality during matches and angles. So I'd say that was a success. Then moved on to the matchup for the Lucha Underground Championship. We've had three defences of the Gift of the Gods belt from Penta El Zero M. So he gets another chance against Garza Jr. this time within a ladder match. It was decent, and Penta picks up the win over Garza Jr. in 11:44 when he retrieved the championship belt, meaning that Penta El Zero M is your Lucha Underground champion. 69, not too bad. I'm quite tempted to move down the path of Penta Oscuro, but we'll see, and the result of the Gift of the Gods championship will be vacated after this show. Now I did say we're going to have a couple of shows in quick succession, and this is the American Dragon Bryan Danielson promoting what is going to take place next week, and that is the Battle of the Belts. And he has said that the tag team championships will be on the line, and it will be Private Party versus his guys Claudio and Daniel Garcia. So he's promoting them, obviously members of the Danielson Fight Dojo, and that is a very good 83 performance. We then have some more news, and this is covered by the 40 figures from both Rampage and Dynamite. This is, of course, Dynamite's Chris Jericho, and Rampage's Daria Berenato and Mick Foley. And they've confirmed it with Tony Khan that we will see a debut of new championship belts at Battle of the Belts. And while they don't say it at the time, I'll confirm what the match will be. We will be debuting our Trios Championships at that event, and the matchup for the belt will be Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews versus Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, and Kenny Omega. So obviously, Kenny's had issues with the House of Black, and that can all come ahead with a brutal matchup next week at Battle of the Belts. Looking forward to that one. Next up, we had a matchup that I didn't think was going to draw too well, because they weren't the most over. I think it was like 83 over versus 81, but they obviously have better in-ring than their overness, which is true. I think they are both pop-capped, and I didn't know they had great chemistry together, so yeah, this matchup should probably have been evented, but you live and learn. And it was about that had superb wrestling and great heat. It saw the AEW World Champion Adam Cole defeat and defend the belt against Tyler Black, of course the winner of the male Owen Championship tournament, in 1740 by pinfall with a crossbody, and it made the third defence of Cole's AEW World title reign. 89, stellar. I've been trying to cut a lot of the bigger matches down to under 20 minutes and reaping the benefits, as you can see, because when we were going 20 minutes they were kind of suffering from maybe like an 81, 82, so I thought we'll try a wee bit less. So yeah, these two delivered, regular matchup. In fact, the only negatives was inconsistency and low morale for Tyler Black, so I mean, if you get them out of the way, you're absolutely sorted with a good matchup there. So all the pressure's on the main event. First off, we got a promo from Becky Quinn, and she just basically says she'll be watching this matchup keen, because she spoke to Tony Khan, and it's confirmed that Battle of the Belts, the winner will face Becky for the AEW World Women's Championship, and that was an 81 promo. Pressure's on, man. Will this deliver? Will it flop? I think it's going to flop, but we'll see. Shame. It was going to cost the event, but we took the risk anyway. It was a main event, good matchup. Demi Bennent defeats Mei Suruga in 13:56 with the Riptide. Demi Bennent makes the 6th defence of the AEW Women's World Championship. Just a 76 despite the 78 and 81 rating. We made it a steal the show matchup, which is why it was less than 15 minutes, but unfortunately just didn't quite click as much as we would have liked. But still, we're in a position though where we're getting like 76 ratings with the women and actually being disappointed, so I think that just shows you the journey we've been on with them. And you know, like with a 6-woman tag on Rampage, I think, and 84 main event, stellar. I think it was Demi, Io, no, Demi, Charlotte and Jade against Io, Becky and Mei, and I think it getting 84. Absolutely sensational stuff. But the show itself, well, we don't lose pop. So what I think's happened is obviously the boosts have helped us greatly, the 100's helped us greatly, and a strong co-main event has helped greatly. So we still get 88, so that's a really, really solid show. It makes you think, if that was in the main event, what possibly we could have got. But very, very happy with that one. And you see that it wasn't the longest show in the world I've ever done. There was a lot, as I say, just getting things through. But I'm going to skip it to the main screen while we're loading. I'll quickly load up my phone and we'll run through what we're going to see over the next couple of shows here in All Elite Wrestling. So, well, Woods, the first week of July, of course, we have Battle of the Belts, so we can confirm that Jade Cargill and Charlotte will defend the belts against Bayley Rose and Mercedes Varnado, and also against Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander. The AEW Tag Team Championships will be on the line, Private Party versus Claudio and Daniel Garcia. We're going to have the AEW Women's Championship on the line as Becky Quinn challenges Demi Bennett. The step up to the TNT Championship challenge is going to be by Prince Devitt, who will battle Keith Lee. Thunder Rosa will defend the TBS Championship against an unknown opponent, likely to be Toni Storm, but that may change. AEW Trios Championship will debut as a House of Black take on Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. The AEW Zero X Championship will be on the line as Sammy Guevara defends it against Wheeler Yuta. Into July 3rd, we have the Fight for the Fallen event. One matchup has been announced so far, and it will be the AEW Tag Team Champions, whoever they may be, will defend them against the Acclaimed. August 1st, we will have an event, and that will be a Mission for Justice. There's a reason for that. It's the end of someone's old theme song back in the day, and basically Sting is retiring, so it'll be Sting's last ever matchup. He'll be in action. The Young Bucks will also be in a big tag team match that night, to be confirmed their opponents. And also retiring is going to be Christian Cage, so we are going to finish off his career with a tag team match between Christian Cage and Edge, or Ace as we'd call him in here, as they battle the Hardys. And All Out is the 4th of August, the 4th week of August. We have it confirmed that FTR will challenge for the AEW Tag Team Championships then. Of course, we'll see that big anticipated matchup of John Cena versus MJF number 2. And brief, that's a lot of pre-booking, and there's still a lot of stuff I need to work around that to fit it. So there we go. Excalibur, if you want me to take your job to do that, I'll try. So AEW was still a fantastic show, which is good to see, and I don't think anything else there directly affects us. Contract-wise, Ace Austin just signs his permanent contract, that's fine. We also have Katajama, who will go to Shimmer. These are both people who have come through the... Was it Ice Ribbon? I think they're in Ice Ribbon actually, so back to Ice Ribbon they go. I always forget who's Ice Ribbon and who's... No, the initial Ice Ribbon group, or who's come through and went to Shimmer. Kota Umeda can get 75%. WWE want Chris Bay, I want Chris Bay, so we're making that deal happen. And basically, as I said, I wanted to try and kill off ROH so I could get him as my company. So EC3, Tracy Williams, Alison Kay, Tyler Bateman and Vincent are all being offered exclusive 1 month deals, so they leave there and join here and leave again. Evil. Very nice, very evil, very maxi. So, that event actually had a lack of big names, despite having Cody Rhodes on it, and having a Brian promo, and having Kevin Steen, so maybe... Oh, the event was fine, it was just the... That's why we only had 54,000 rather than 70 odd, so that's my fault. Other things, buy rate would have been 0 because it was on the AEW network. That was always the plan. So 19 million viewers. Shawn Michaels says that Jamie Hayter is money. That is the plan to strap the Rocket to her in that tag team. Jay Fato is back from injury, and we'll sort the contracts for Nano Ajichi. Or Nakano Ajichi, which is a Ice Ribbon Dojo, so it's a lot of ones that came through that. Same with Koi Takasugi, and of course the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. But I'll sort them out momentarily after the video. So thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and if you did like what you saw, same time next week for Battle of the Belts. Let's do this. Till next time, mind check out the other good brothers on the Fantasy Booker subreddit and the Grey Dog Software forums, and as Kenny says, good evening, good day and good night. Mwah. Bye bye.